Hello guys, welcome to Tariq's class. Today I'm going to be talking about some important things about specialized high school admissions test. You have heard the word SHSAT many times and you have a lot of questions in your mind. In this video, you will learn about the 6 most important questions about specialized high school admissions test. So what are the questions? The questions are, who takes this test? Is it 5th grader, 6th grader? I don't know. What are the schools that requires SHSAT? Is it high school, middle school? Let's see. What is on the test? Is it English, biology, maybe physics? How is the test scored? Is it out of 100, 200, 300? What are the cutoff scores? If I get 50, can I get in? We'll see. How many students get accepted? 50,000, 70,000? We will learn the answer to all of these questions in this video with Tariq. So the first question is, who takes this test? Any 8th grader or 9th grader who wants to enroll in one of the New York City's specialized high schools can take this exam. However, you have to be current New York City resident. So if you live in Pennsylvania or you are a Pennsylvania resident, you cannot take this exam. Sorry, buddy. The second question is, what are the high schools that requires SHSAT? So I listed the high schools alphabetically. So you might think, oh, Tariq listed the Bronx High School of Science as first, so it might be the best school. There is no such thing. All of these schools are great. So the schools are the Bronx High School of Science, the Brooklyn Latin High School, Brooklyn Technical High School, HSMSC. HSMSE stands for High School for Math, Science and Engineering at City College. So you might think, oh, engineering school. So am I gonna be an engineer when I graduate from this high school? No. You have to go to college for that. Number 5 is High School for American Studies at Lehman College. Number 6, Queens High School at York College. Then you have Staten Island Tech High School. And last but not the least, Stuyvesant High School. So these are the 8 high schools that requires SHSAT. So you might think Tariq probably doesn't know about LaGuardia High School. I actually do, but LaGuardia High School does not require SHSAT. After listening to the names of these high schools, you are probably thinking, oh wow, the names of these high schools are so cool. I also want to take the test. What's on the test? Is it biology? I know the names of 5-6 animals, tigers, elephants. Good for you, buddy. First of all, knowing names of animals is not part of the biology. And the second thing is, the test does not have biology. It has ELA and math. So you will have 57 ELA questions and 57 math questions, a total of 114 questions. Oh wow, 114 questions? So you must be thinking you get a lot of time to do that. Not really. You will have only 3 hours to finish the test. It's divided into 2 more sections, Part A and Part B. Part A is called Revising and Editing. It has total 9 to 11 questions. You need to have the ability to recognize and correct the language error. For example, look at this sentence. The book is on the bed that I borrowed from the library. What's wrong with this sentence, guys? It sounds like the bed is borrowed from the library. But what I'm trying to say is the book that I borrowed from the library is on the bed. The part, the borrowed from the library, should be right next to the noun, the book. Now the second thing you'll need to know is grammar. Like verb tense, preposition, part of speech, stuff like that. Then you'll need to know punctuations, comma, colon, period. And also there will be an essay, written essay, and you'll have to improve the quality of that essay by answering some multiple choice questions. So you'll need to have the writing skill which will help you improve the overall quality of that essay. Now let's look into Part B. Part B is called Reading Comprehensions. there will be total 46 to 48 questions where you'll have to understand, analyze, and interpret reading comprehensions. The word that should come into your head is boring. Yeah, it was probably boring before, but the new test is pretty interesting because it has 3 to 4 informational texts such as biographies, arguments, essay about literature, opinions, and you'll have 1 to 2 literary prose texts such as science fiction, historical fictions, adventure stories, and 1 poem, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Not exactly, a little bit more critical than that. You'll have to understand, analyze, and interpret the poem. Then we have mathematics. There will be total 57 questions on math section. 5 questions are going to be grid-in questions, means you will have no answer choices. They're not multiple choice questions. So you might think, wow, Tariq, how am I going to play my eeny, meeny, miny, mo? You can play your eeny, meeny, miny, mo on the next 52 multiple choice questions. So you'll have 5 grid-in questions, but 52 multiple choice questions. So what are the mathematical topics you should know? You should know your basic algebra, geometry, probability, statistic, arithmetic, mostly word problems. There will be a lot of tricky word problems. So how is the test scored? I already told you that there are 114 questions on this test. 57 ELA questions, 57 math questions. But there are 20 questions among these 114 questions that are considered as field questions. Means these 20 questions do not count towards your grading. Out of these 20 questions, there are 10 questions that comes from ELA sections and the 10 questions that comes from math section. So your test was out of 114 and I said 20 field question which doesn't count, so you subtract it, so total 94 questions. So your test will be graded out of 94 questions. Does it mean that you only answer 94 questions? No, because you do not know which ones are the field questions. So you will have to answer all 114 questions. Pretty sad, right? But you will have to do that. Now, how is it graded? So, for each question you get correct, you're going to receive a raw score of 1. If you get anything wrong, there is no penalty, but you will just not receive the raw score. Duh. Now, let's see how it works. For example, there is a scale that I wrote on this board, which is not 100% accurate because every year it varies. It is based on the performance of the students of that year. So this will give you an idea. It's not 100% correct, but this will definitely give you an idea. Now let's see how it works. Let's say on the ELA section out of 47, you scored 43. So ELA, you scored 43 out of 47. On the math section, you scored, let's say, 40 out of 47. So what will be your scaled score? If you look at the scale, 43 means 290. So you get 290 on English. And math is 40, which means 272. 272. So your total will be 562. So you receive a 562. You receive a score of 562. So this is just an idea, but it's not completely accurate. So as you can see, the scale is not proportional, means it's not growing by the same number every time. So it varies. When you go towards the higher range of the scores, then your scaled scores are much larger. For example, if you receive 46, you get 350, and if you receive 47, you're getting 400, an increase of 50 points. Now that you know how does the grading works, now let's look into the cutoff scores. So what are the cutoff scores for the specialized high schools? These cutoff scores, guys, they're not same every year because it varies every year depending on the performance of the students that year. But I will give you an idea. In order to get into Stuyvesant High School, you will need about 560 or above. In order to get into Bronx Science High School, you will need about 520 or above. For high school for math, science, and engineering, the one at City College, you will need about 517 or above. For high school for American Studies at Lehman College, you will need about 517 or above. For Staten Island Tech High School, you will need about 517 or above. For Queen Science High School, you will need about 512 or above. For Brooklyn Technical High School, you will need at least 495 or above. For Brooklyn Latin High School, you will need about 483 or above. After looking into the cutoff of the schools, you might think, oh, Tariq, 560 or above out of 800? It seems so easy, you wasted my time. It's not that easy, guys. If you look into the data of 2018, 23,067 students listed Stuyvesant High School as one of their choices on SHSAT, and only 902 people were accepted. Only 902. Imagine, guys, 23,000 to 900. What's the ratio? Only 900 people got accepted. It means 22,000 students did not get accepted to Stuyvesant High School. 22,000. If you look at the second one, 19,715 people listed Bronx Science High School as one of their choices on SHSAT, and only 912 students got in. 912, guys. About 18,000 students did not receive the admission in Bronx Science High School. On Brooklyn Tech High School, 24,163 students applied, guys, 24,000. Even though the Brooklyn Tech High School is a huge school, they could only take 1,904 students. If you look at Brooklyn Latin, 17,111 students applied and only 582 got accepted. HSMSC, 19,856. Remember, high school for math, science, and engineering, where you thought you'll be an engineer if you get into this high school? Only 149 kids got in. So about 19,700 students didn't even get in. If you look at the high school for American Studies, 17,238 applied and 141 got in. Guys, it's a very small amount if you look into it. Queens High School, 16,823 students listed as a choice, and got in only 151 students got into that. And Staten Island, 16,007 students listed Staten Island as one of their choices on SHSAT, and only 326 students got in. As you can see, the chart shows us how challenging it is to get into one of the specialized high school. So my suggestion is start understanding the material, study the right material, get a proper mentor, and then work hard to get into one of the specialized high schools.